allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to the roll call.
Councilmember Reimer?
Here.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Here.
Councilmember Brenner?
Here.
Councilmember Barnett?
Here.
Councilmember Valente?
Here.
Councilmember Berkeley?
Here.
And Council President Gajewski.
Here. And I did want to note that prior to the meeting, we did have an executive session to discuss pending litigation related to the Berkshire Mall. And we'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment?
Dr. Angela Adler, 1544 Cleveland Avenue. So I want to give a little background about myself. I'm going to be talking about grants just for a second because I'm an executive at nonprofits and I specialize in revenue diversification, and I've been studying grant writing and strategy behind grants. And it's something that if you don't think about grant and strategy, you may not be familiar with it. So I just wanted to let you know some of the information I've learned over my career. Just as another bona fide, I was selected to present for the Grant Makers for Effective Organizations conference in Boston in June. So that's going to be the Clinton Foundation, the Gates Foundation, the Ford Foundation I'm going to be presenting to. So I know what I'm talking about. So with grants for specific projects, if you're not going to do that project anyway, are incredibly expensive because they almost never will cover the entire cost of the project. And so it's very important when, say, the borough is in financial straits to not apply for grants for projects that you're not going to be doing anyway. If it is a project that needs to be done, say the pool needs to be repaired, and you want to apply for funds for that, that makes sense. So applying for funds to, say, fix the ice skating rink would make a lot of sense. But to create...
Will, can you give this comment at the end? The comments at the beginning need to be pertaining to a specific agenda item.
Isn't it in the borough manager's report that there's going to be a grant discussed?
There is a grant. So, okay.
Continue. How long has she been?
So that's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
So I'm encouraging you in perpetuity until the borough is in solid financial standing, do not create additional projects through grants unless they are part of a larger strategy. If you are going to get unrestricted funds that can be used generally, that's great. But if it is a project that is specific, that you have to use the grant funds for, and it is not part of the larger strategic vision of the borough right now, it will cost more than it will get us. So I'm encouraging you to not take on any additional projects and focus very specifically on the financial state of the borough because grants are expensive if they're not part of your strategy. Thank you.
Is there any additional comment?
Yes. Hi, Adrian Jiddick, Wyomissing. I want to say, yes, I agree. I think she's correct in the sense, don't ever get grants for the sake of getting grants. I think that's how I would describe that. It's, but in any case, my comment is on a different matter. So my first comments are on the zoning hearing board appointment item. Agenda language says that the zoning hearing board made a recommendation and resolution 2026-06 to appoint Mark Robinson. I have 4 concerns on this issue. First is transparency. The borough has not published who applied, what each applicant submitted, or the criteria used for selection. Residents cannot evaluate the appointment on a blank record. Second, authority and process. The same resolution cites MPC paragraph 903, council appoints zoning hearing board members by resolution. In the council minutes I reviewed from 2022 to 2025, zoning hearing board members changes appear as council appointments alone by resolution, not as zoning hearing board led selections. Frankly, I have not seen anyone doing that, but I don't want us to make this statement. Accordingly, any zoning hearing board recommendation may be an internal preference, but it's not an appointment mechanism and should not substitute for a council-led, transparent process with a public record. Third, Governance and controls. Resolution 2022, so a few years ago, -06, -04, appointed Chair David Rothermel to a 3-year term commencing January 3, 2022. That term expired on January 2nd, 2025. I have reviewed the council minutes and do not see a reappointment or extension resolution. Yet he has continued to act as chair. That is a term tracking and documentation failure that should be cured promptly and documented to protect the board and applicants. The fourth item, residency and practical participation. The same MPC requires zoning hearing board members to be residents. Separately, zoning hearing board decisions are highly site-specific. When a member appears to spend substantial time out of state and participates remotely, pretty much on a regular basis, even if technically arguable, it undermines confidence and the practical ability to evaluate sites and conditions. Wyomissing is also operating on the bare minimum number of members for a body making quasi-judicial decisions about property rights. That makes transparency, eligibility verification, and procedural integrity even more important. My request is table resolution 2026-06, publish the candidate pool and selection criteria, verify eligibility and appointment status of current members, and bring this back on a clean record. And the second agenda item of concern. The treasurer and assistant treasurer appointments are being presented without a standardized fair process. The package shows one candidate submission as a single page, while another includes 9 pages, which includes multiple attachments, including items unrelated to treasurer duties, and those were included in the published materials. Council should require uniform submission instructions and publish all candidate materials consistently. I think this is a failure of telling people what needs to be presented. I'm sure that Mr. Reeser can produce. So I will submit, I'm done. I will submit the full written comments with exhibits as per. Thank you so much.
Is there any additional public comment? Okay.
Is that a public comment on anything?
Specific to agenda items. Agenda items. If it's an item on the agenda, you can make a comment about it now. Otherwise, it would be at the end of the meeting. We will move on to resolution 2026-03. This is a resolution of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing in recognition of the dedication and contributions of William Jenks to the Borough of Wyomissing. So we'll need a motion to approve, table, or deny this resolution.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then the motion carries. Or all opposed? No one opposed? Motion carries. All right, and I did ask Mayor Lovering to please join me to present these since he worked with me so closely.
We've had a long-standing tradition here at the borough to present retiring council member elected officials with a token of appreciation. So there are photographs from around the borough with a piece that identifies why this was done and when and so on. We try to do scenes from around the borough that are just meaningful. And in Bill's case, we included a bunch of trucks, fire trucks. Because Bill, prior to his service on council, spent many years as a member of our fire department. And that was much appreciated. And then he joined council and ultimately became the council president. So it's very meaningful to me, having known Bill for a long time, to present this to you. So thank you.
I'd like to say I
greatly appreciate the mayor presenting me with this, and I thank council. But more importantly, I want to thank members of the Borough Hall staff. What you do is incredible. It's and it goes, a lot of it goes unnoticed. I noticed tonight on Channel 69 that a community, Cumber, who an individual here tonight has said that we should be more like Cumber. Came on Channel 69 News tonight and said we want to be more like Wyomissing, which I found very interesting. So don't, what's the word I want to use? Multi-manage the borough staff. They're doing a great job. You as council can learn a lot from this staff, and it would behoove you not to micromanage them. Thank you again very much, everyone. Thank you.
On to Resolution 2026-04, a resolution of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing in recognition of the dedication and contributions of Ronald Stanko to the Borough of Wyomissing. So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Ron? Oh, no, that's just for you to take.
Really quick.
Like Bill, we have a similar appreciation for Ron. Ron has been a longtime resident and has served, in addition to Borough Council, as a longtime member of our Planning Commission, which is integral to our redevelopment work and so on, obviously. He served as chairman of that. And we're very pleased to present this to Ron, thanking him for his service and wishing him the best in the future. Keep your remarks to under a half an hour, please. He sometimes gets a little carried away.
Well, I kind of get carried away because I started here as a playground leader. A lot of things. Look back on the number of kids that I see that are fighter pilots or actually Naval Academy graduates. They're all over the place, and I see them all the time. They all play baseball for me, and they play all over the place. And I had 4 kids. I managed to do this from the time they were born until now, and I can't guarantee you I'm not coming back again. There's something about this place that makes me want to keep it the way it is, because the way it is why people come back here to see the way it's been. So it's been a good time these 4 years. Kind of flipped on my shoulder here because I voted no all the time. Everybody else voted yes, and then they're not here anymore, and all the people that voted yes are now voting no. So it's kind of an interesting observation when you're around as long as I've been. But I appreciate everyone here and everything they've done, and I think our staff is great, super staff. I'd like to see us really get our act together and make some headway here about getting things under control and making things happen. But thank you all for everything you've done for me, and maybe I'll see you again sometime around the corner. Thank you.
I warned you, but you know, you've.
Yeah. So next we have our resolution 2026-05, a resolution of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing in recognition of the dedication and contributions of Frederick Mogul to the Borough of Wyomissing. We have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. And he is not here, but, right, I don't think so.
No, Fred was not able to be with us tonight, but I did want to point out that we have a similar tribute to him. He served as a longtime chair of a couple of our committees, personnel, and we thank him very much for his dedication and hard work. Wish him the best in the future, and we'll see that he gets this as soon as possible. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
I also want to note that Melissa does a heck of a nice job of putting this together for us. Thank you.
Very nice. Lovely. Lovely.
Okay. We'll move forward to the council minutes. These were included in your packets and on the documents online. So we are looking for a motion to table, approve, or deny the minutes of the December 9th, 2025, December 15th, 2025, and December 29th, 2025 council meeting. Oh, as well as the January 5th reorganization meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Just have one comment. On the January 5th, Dr. Adler mentioned, and she gave a nice speech about you being the president and all that good stuff. I just want to be clear that it has not been the borough's history to take the highest vote getter and make that person the president.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that, yes.
That's it.
Okay, all right, then we have a motion and a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And we'll move on to the consulting engineers reports.
Well, welcome to council members. I think basically everything is in this month's report that we have. So unless council has any specific questions in addition to that, I think we've covered everything in the monthly report.
I'll make a motion to approve the borough engineers report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, that motion carries. And we'll move on to the police chief and mayor's report for the month of December.
Thank you, Kristen. The mayor, I'm the mayor. I wanted to see if everybody was paying attention. You did very well tonight. It's not always the case, but the chief, of course, will review a synopsis of his report and be able to handle any questions that any of you may have. There are two things that I wanted to point out, though, that I was very pleased about. This evening, we have joining us this evening are two new officers, which I had the honor of swearing in last week, Isaiah Shockley and Peter Prozik. They are now in field training. I'm very pleased that they're with us. We've had a significant change in our department in terms of some retirements over the last couple of years, so we're a lot younger than before. So I expect these guys to be with us for quite a long time to come and have high expectations of their success in keeping our community safe. So I would like to introduce to you, gentlemen, Isaiah, Peter, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very happy to have you here. Congratulations. As it turned out, just a complete disclosure here, that some of our residents appreciate this kind of disclosure, I think. I'm being a wise guy, Adrian, that's fine. But they were working, one ending a shift at 7 and the other one beginning a shift at 7 tonight. So we're able to have them here with us tonight and not pay any overtime. So we're very happy about those guys. I also am pleased to say that we had, as I mentioned a moment ago, some recent retirements. And we had one of those happen again, and we were able, with the list we had from civil service, be able to get another person. Kevin Kerwin has been brought aboard. He has started his training at the Reading Police Academy Monday, just this past Monday, yesterday. So we look forward to him completing that training. And then I'll be very pleased to introduce him to you when he's finished with that, and I have the pleasure to swear him in. So that's the latest. So Chief, it's all yours.
Good evening, everybody. As the mayor said, I'll go over the highlights of the report, but if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them once I'm done. So I know some of you, it's your first council meeting, but I know you've been to many of them already, but just as a breakdown of my report, the first section I break down the total hours and then what they're doing to get to those hours. So I don't want to go through each one of them individually. We'll be here forever, but just so you understand, but we were available for 3,294 hours of service for the month of December, and you see those break down there. We handled 629 calls for the month. We have the borough broken down, several different censuses, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. We have a business district and we have a few residential communities. So I break those out. You can see we had 152 on our business districts and then 33 in our residential communities. It took us an average of 4.14 minutes to arrive on location to our incidents, and we spent an average of 22.88 minutes. It was a light month for training for us, being December. We just did our Police One Academy training, which was recognizing domestic violence, and then our monthly Stratix training, which was fishing this month. We gave assistance 26 total times, and we received it a total of 14 times throughout the month. Our community service events for the month were Shop with a Cop. We did that 2 different occasions, one with Crime Alert Berks and one with Central Berks Regional Police. I put on our website and social media, and then you all are seeing that you get our daily reports, the synopsis of the reports of what happens. So in those, you'll see from time to time school bus violations. It's SBVIO. Those are from the cameras that are now on the buses of both the Wilson and Wyomissing area school districts. Those cameras capture vehicles as they pass the buses when they have their red lights activated and their stop sign out and their arm out when we're supposed to stop. There's a section in the vehicle code to make sure I got it right. It's 3545.1. That's the section that the owners of the vehicle, I should say, get issued the citation through. That section was passed by the legislature a few years ago, and what it does is it makes it a civil offense, meaning they get a civil penalty for violating going past the school bus. It's a $300 total fine, in which the school districts get $250, we get $25, and the safety program gets $25. So what happens is the videos that capture these violations are sent to us, and I have a sergeant that he monitors that. He checks it every couple days, and that's when you see the reports go out, because he's approving, and he has the ultimate say whether, yes, this was a violation or not. Those that are violations, Bus Patrol takes care of sending the citation. And they get a picture of their car going past, showing the violation and everything. So that's what that means. But because this has been happening now, and he takes numbers, we gather data as to where the violations are occurring. We're seeing them happen at more than one, at usually the same locations. So this past month, I had the squads going out when we are seeing those violations to go out and sit there to see if we can capture anybody. Of course, every time we did it, we didn't capture anybody, which is a good thing. Maybe they saw us and decided not to stop. So that kind of thing is going to continue to go, and we're going to keep doing that just to try to keep everybody safe. The mayor already talked about our new officers, and before the holidays, I had Sergeant Moser going around, and we were seeing a lot of, when we get our holdup alarms at our financial institutions, there's a protocol they're supposed to go through, and we were getting responses back that there was a holdup actually occurring when it wasn't. So they have turnover, they may not be training them, so he went to every single one and spoke with them and reviewed the procedure with them. But hopefully next time, we're not going to get the improper responses. And then lastly here, we ended the year with 8,296 calls. It was another busy year. I'm in the process of completing that annual report. As I always say, I promise it by February's Fire and Police. If I can get it to this one, I will try. The way it's going, I tried to work on it today, and I got about an hour on it. That was it. So I work on it a little bit here and there as I have the time. But it will be available by February's Fire and Police. The next section, the chart's showing the top 10 types of calls that we handle. Traffic stop, it's usually about the same every month. Traffic stops is our highest, and the last was disabled vehicles. Then it shows the time of day and day of week that are the busiest. So at noon was our busiest time of the day for the month, and Tuesday, believe it or not, with 121 total calls, was our busiest day. This next session, I'm showing where calls are occurring in the borough. You see a map of the borough, and I said we have census tract. We have the borough divvied up into specific geographical areas. And when something occurs there, we put that census tract in, and it helps us to, determine where crimes are occurring and things like that. So like you can see right here, we're in tract 7 where we're sitting right now. So I'm showing you the top census tracts as to where calls are occurring. So 7 is the number 1, going down to CT 13, which is the lowest, which is 13 is Birdland. So you can kind of get an idea of where incidents are occurring throughout the borough. As far as I have some crash information, where we had 62 total, 24 were non-reportable, 37 were reportable, and we had 1 pedestrian. So reportable crashes are those crashes that require towing of a vehicle or somebody goes to the hospital. Non-reportables are fender benders. We gave out a total of 120 either citations, warnings, or parking tickets. We arrested 22 individuals for the month. They were all adults. See where it brings us out for the year. Dealt with 1 wanted person. We had 14 criminal offenses that are either part 1 or part 2, and I'll explain that a little bit here. As far as then crime, I have that broken down. The incidents that those 22 people were arrested for, these are the top incidents of what they were. So retail theft and domestics were the top, and we had some counterfeits and a traffic violation in which an arrest was made. And the busiest day for arrests was Saturday at 7. The next page is UCRs, that's Uniform Crime Reporting. I said there's part 1, part 2. Part 1 are those incidents that are kind of grayed out. Part 2 are below that. We had 14 total. That's showing you what those incidents were, and I have what we had for the total for the year and what was cleared out for the year. So we are around a 76% right now. UCRs are a snapshot in time, meaning that tomorrow some of the officers can turn in some paperwork to Chris, who manages all this stuff, and the numbers can change a little bit. So when I completed this, this is where we were. But we're still at 76, around a 76% clearance rate for the year. So again, we have done a good year with solving the crime that we're getting.
Nationally, it is what?
Usually the last one I could find, and I'm looking for it again in my report, but was 2019 where they broke it down as an average, but it's usually about 45%. So we're well above that average. When you look at the Uniform Crime Reporting and you go by incident, what that's at. We used just over 900 gallons of fuel, and we put on 7,749 miles on our vehicles. And as far as monies that were brought in, it was just over $16,000. So again, I have it broken out by fine money that we get from the DJ, if we have any alarm invoices or parking tickets, our requests for reports, monies that are collected by the state and county, miscellaneous bus patrol and vest reimbursement. So again, the bus patrol was what I talked about, and vest reimbursements I had put in for reimbursement to the DOJ for ballistic vests that were purchased. That was probably about 6 months ago that I sent that in. So that is not something that comes very quickly. But then the OT reimbursement, we do a lot of details in which we are reimbursed for that money. So that is my report. I went into a little bit more depth because I wanted you all to kind of understand. I use the same format every month. It just makes it easier for me. I can just go in and change some numbers and things like that. And but I wanted you to understand what everything meant. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer. Okay.
I don't have any questions, but thank you for breaking it down and going into detail. I appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing the officers.
Yes. Do we
Mayor
have,
said it worked out because one was getting done and one was coming in. So made it easy.
do we have a motion to approve the police activity reports?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right, motion carries. We'll move on to the fire chief's report, which
It's okay with council, I'm gonna go a little out of order because I have, I believe, the entire fire department.
is that who's out there? Wonderful.
First and foremost, I wanted to introduce our two new entry-level firefighter EMTs, Dante Calero and George Anthony Jr. They started on January 5th. They spent a week, basically Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, getting to experience the different shifts, and effective Sunday, they were assigned to their platoon and are now on their normal schedule. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. Next, I wanted to recognize firefighter EMT Blaze Yasso and technician Timothy Lambert. Both technician Lambert and firefighter Yasso completed the National Honor Guard Academy's training course. This was not something that was, I'm like, we're already months behind this. This was not something that is required of them. They actually requested to do this based off of some incidents I think that have happened in the past years, and the understanding that we needed to step up, and we've had others step up for us, so we can now repay that honor for others in the future. So Blaze. I'm not going to pin you because I don't
Can you imagine we have a firefighter whose name is Blaze? I mean, it's.
He was born for the job. Next, I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve promoting the highest ranked candidate on the certified list from the Civil Service Commission for the position of technician with the Wyomissing Fire Department, and that would be Drew Lefevre.
So moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now.
And next, I'm respectfully requesting a motion to promote the highest ranked candidate on the certified list from the Civil Service Commission for the position of captain with the Wyomissing Fire Department, and that would be Randall Martin.
We have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Happy.
And now backtracking to the fire department's December activity report. Monthly response was 185 calls, 141 in the borough, 44 were mutual aid. Yearly response is 1,874. Captain Sites is working on the year-end report. He sent me a draft today. I have a couple questions I want to go over with him, but we will have that for the January Fire and Police Committee meeting. You can see the list of mutual aid given, mutual aid received. Average personnel per incident, 3.95 members. Average response time, 1 minute, 12 seconds, which is down about 18 seconds from, I think, 2 months ago. Nice job, gentlemen. Inspection total year to date, 357. In terms of invoicing, I asked the question why the unpaid number was so high. The way that the report's pulling, it's actually going back several years. So that 21,637 is not unpaid just for 2025. That's actually going back to 23, 22. And I'm going to have a conversation with the business office about, we don't currently have a system set up that automatically generates 30, 60, 90 past dues. But that's something I think we need to look into going after to recoup that money. There's also code enforcement action we can take with the district justice's office. So we will look into, all avenues to be able to do that. And then the fire department, the incident type report. I wanted to make a note, this gray area with the new reporting, it's not going to classify it the way the other items are classified. Captain Zeiss actually showed me, now that we're in the new year, the report for year to date, and it shows it, I believe, as no emergency, which could be anything from an automatic fire alarm to they're recalled while they're en route because it's classified, it's not an emergency because it wasn't really an emergency. So I think there's going to be some further explaining that needs to take place with that in the future as the report's generated, but we will get you the information. Again, you have a mutual aid breakdown. Response by shift, B platoon. And then there are your QRS responses. Responses by day of the week, with Monday being busiest. And then you can see the apparatus, fuel, and mileage. Does anybody have any questions regarding the fire department report?
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. And we'll move on to our committee reports.
Thank you all.
You guys are welcome to stay.
Thank
you.
Thank you all.
A report that is Mr. Bronner.
Thank you, Mrs. President. The Infrastructure Committee met on December 15th. Not going to go through too much of this. I do want to keep stating that unfortunately we have the recurring theme of a feral cat problem up on Dolphin Avenue that we're trying everything we can to do, but I think it's important that the public know that they are a nuisance, and it is starting to pop up a little bit everywhere, not just in the borough of Wyomissing, but they are a problem, and we're going to do everything we can in our power to help those residents. That being said, the committee has made a recommendation to approve payment application number 2 in the amount of $20,172.60 to JNS Paving and Excavating for the West Lawn Interceptor. And on behalf of the committee,
Steve?
yes.
Before we go forward, we tabled that at the infrastructure meeting. I'd like to table it again.
Tabled it.
They're going to resubmit a new payment application number 2 that'll be in front of infrastructure on Tuesday.
So I apologize. We did table it, and I'll make a recommendation to table it.
Second.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? All in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, then we have the 50/50 sidewalk program. Motion is that the committee's making a recommendation of payment on application number 2 from Farino Company LP in the amount of $55,624.40 for the sidewalk program. And on behalf of the committee, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Oh,
We don't.
do we roll call? Okay.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Valente?
Yes.
Councilmember Berkeley?
Yes.
And Council President Gieske?
Yes.
And make a motion to approve the infrastructure committee report.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to the library board.
Thank you so much, Council President. We had our library board meeting on the 15th. We had I gave some remarks at the library that evening, again, just in reference to the larger budget discussion. Overall, just to let the library know that, again, everything is going to have to find ways to become a little bit more efficient going forward from the standpoint of the borough. They are very receptive. They take it on as a challenge. Through their fundraising committee, they're planning to institute a new large-scale event this year. And their goal is to try to have that event raise $10,000, which is a pretty lofty goal, putting it on par with where their large event used to be. So expect big things out of the library this year. They are very excited to keep working on the great work building on the great work they've been doing. And that's really the highlights at this point for me, unless anyone has any additional questions.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the library board report?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to the finance and administration committee report.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Finance and admin met on January 9th. Just throw a few numbers out there.
As a correction, wasn't that on?
Was it not on? Oh, it was on the 8th?
Not the
Okay.
9th? Thank you.
There you go. I didn't catch that one. Cash and investment balances at the end of December were just over 7 million, which is an $820,000 decrease from November. Revenues year to date total just over 25 million, while expenses year to date totaled 26.3 million. In the next paragraph, it says revenues exceeded expenditures by 1,299,000, which I believe is a typo. Did expenditures not exceed revenues?
Willis had already corrected.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that we update that on the minutes. But yeah, so we spent $1.3 million, leaving us with an overall fund balance of just over $8.1 million. 1.8 in reserves and 6.3 million is unreserved. Just a quick update, Berks EIT will be attending next month's finance meeting to discuss aspects of what they do for us. And the only other item I wanted to bring up was we had discussed, this is on me, not you at all, Melissa, but we had discussed the administrative portion of finance and admin, and I went through some of the recordings. I had tabled it and then jumped to many of the other line items that were intermingled with it, and we never got any further than that. It wasn't voted on. We voted on a lot of other things, but in the minutes today, or in the minutes, it says it was, the motion was to approve authorizing the solicitor, and we wanted to wait on that a little bit. Outside of that, go back up here. we do need a motion to table, approve, or deny the solicitor draft and council approve a resolution authorizing the appointed treasurer and assistant treasurer as authorized check signers for all borough bank accounts. I don't know if we want to do that now or if we want to put that off until after a possible approval of said treasurer, which will happen later in the meeting. That's up to you all.
I think, is it more appropriate to circle back so we can see the names, or can we say?
Necessarily not, because there's no point.
Whoever we appoint.
Yeah.
As appointed.
Okay, as appointed,
Yeah.
okay.
As a point, okay. And I'll make that motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
The committee is recommending a motion to approve requiring every law firm providing service to the borough to enter into a retainer agreement within 60 days of notification as a condition of continuing to provide service.
And I'd like to make it clear that Masano Bradley does have a retainer agreement with us. This has nothing to do with the solicitor. There are two firms which do not have a retainer agreement.
Would anyone like to make the motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I'd like to make a motion to table authorizing the solicitor to draft an ordinance to move the admin portion of finance and administration to personnel as per the committee requested.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The committee is requesting a motion to approve adding a second public comment period at the end of every committee, commission, board, and council meeting of which residents can address agenda and non-agenda items. I just wanted to clarify. Oh, no, this is just at the end. I just wanted to make sure council wasn't opening up non-agenda items prior to the meeting, but this is only for the end, so never mind.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
The committee is requesting a motion to approve adding a standing item to the finance committee agenda. This is not fully written out. I believe this is in response to the right to know conversation. And I don't believe that the committee moved, is this correct? And I don't believe the committee moved this forward to council. They did. Okay. Adding a standing item to the finance committee agenda to discuss staff time, staff member names involved in providing the requested documents for right to know requests. Item requested and applicable billing of the solicitor. So we're looking for a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Any
Second, but I would like to ask that the motion be amended. We're not asking that the name of the person making the request be as part of the report.
Correct.
But I do think it's helpful to somehow determine how the requests are distributed. For example, if, let's say, there are 15 requests in a month, I think it would be helpful to know whether there are 15 different people, whether there were 2 different people. So I don't know whether it's possible to have like one request, one by person 1, person 2, person 3, just to get some idea of whether there is a broad sense of the community wanting information, or whether there are a narrow group of people. So I would ask that the motion be amended, only with your permission, to designate by an anonymous number or letter, so we have a sense of how many are coming from how many people.
So the name's redacted and letter A, B, C, D, however many people.
Can I
Okay, next step,
suggest maybe tabling this so that we can discuss that more with staff? I know that staff keeps this file. I think maybe it would be worth finalizing all of the specifics and then putting it through once we know specifically what we're gonna do. That would be
Are you
my,
asking him to amend the motion table?
that would be my suggestion, yes.
Is someone able to file a right to know request on who is submitting the right to knows?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we could easily find that out. Anybody could easily find that out.
Would it be complicated for you to, we were planning on redacting the names? You just add letters in front of them?
I mean,
I don't think we need, it's not a bad idea. I don't think it's necessary because that information can easily be gleaned if anybody chooses to.
Well, except you have to file another right to request to get it. But I'm not asking for names, I'm just saying, Jan, I think Mrs. Barnett's point is person A filed one, person B filed one, person C filed one, person D filed two, person E filed one. And if someone really wants to know, they just file a right to request to find out who's filing and for what reason.
Again, my concern is that we want this to be fair. We want to invite people to ask questions if they have them. If one person keeps getting named and it's not a mystery who that person is, then it can be perceived as an intent to intimidate or single out an individual. Now, I don't think there should be any limits on who
That works,
wants
that
to
actually
file.
works both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because it might not, everybody might think it's person A, but it's not person A, it's person B, C, D, and E.
That's true.
If you
in
use
the
letters
interest of
for each individual.
time, should we table this and take it back to finance? Or specifics? I mean, I think it's a good discussion. I think it's a lot, but I don't know that we're gonna come to a resolution tonight.
The original item on finance said staff time, staff member names involved in providing requested documents, item requested, and applicable billing of this if the solicitor was involved in the request. So all we're asking is for a sort of maybe number of requesters. If there was 20 right to knows, can we just ask if there was 10 requesters or 20 requesters or 3 requesters, or you want to?
I mean, I think it's more of a question for Melissa, who's keeping up the form. I just think it would be better to discuss it in more detail, or consider maybe sending it through email the same way that we get our police call updates. Then it's not public record, but we can still see all the information we know.
Oh, it is, but the police chief also puts it on Crime Watch that's identical to what we get. So that is dispersed to anybody who signs up. Okay. Can we pass it the way it is and then consider whether to add something later?
Yes.
I'd be comfortable with that.
So we're gonna leave the motion the way it is.
So we have a motion.
And a second.
Maybe I stand alone on this. I don't understand what additional items we're getting out of putting this as a standing item and leaving it out there. Like, help me understand the intention of what we're trying to do with this.
Part of it was understanding a portion of what staff spends time doing. And I think we find our borough is probably higher in right to knows than others. And I think knowing what kind of right to knows they're requesting will help us figure out which ways to become more transparent and what they're requesting that we're not necessarily providing. And it will give us a better background as well.
That was the communication piece. What communication aren't we making that people feel a need to request further information about?
I see value in that argument, but I don't see that value translated with what we're trying to pass tonight, personally. Motion and a second.
Additional?
Any
Okay.
additional discussion?
Anything else? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, then the motion. That was,
I think that was my last one. I also just wanted to give a shout out to Phyllis. We're gonna really miss her. She's gonna have really huge shoes to fill. She's been fantastic over the years, and I've personally learned a lot from her.
Well, and the folks who are going to step in her big shoes were very complimentary.
Yes, they
of
were.
The work that she's done, the high quality of the work done by her. That should be emphasized.
Yeah, they were quite impressed.
So,
This one.
so do you want?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that
Want a
out before.
motion to approve the committee report as amended by the date and the
The tabling.
revenues exceeding, the expenditures exceeding revenue, and there was something else.
And then the miscommunication with tabling, with me jumping
Yes.
around the agenda. Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Finance and Admin Committee report as per the recommended changes to the
Second.
minutes.
Second.
any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will move on to the Borough Manager's report.
Good evening, Council. The Western Berks Water Authority and Joint Municipal Authority meeting minutes were included in your council packet. Scroll through those quickly to get to the ordinance. I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve adoption of ordinance number 1459-2025 as to the imposition and collection of associated convenience fees from the payer for credit card transactions. This was approved for advertisement at the December council meeting. This effectively allows the borough, anytime a resident or whomever really is paying us by credit card, we can capture those processing fees that were charged by the credit card company. No different than a lot of places that you shop, that if you want to use a credit card, they tell you there's a 3 or a 3.25, whatever that fee is, we can now recoup it. This will not go into effect until February.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions?
I just wanted to thank you guys for doing this. I know this is something I requested because there was a portion of taxpayer money that was being basically used to cover these fees for the people who use credit cards. And I didn't think that was fair to the people who were not paying via credit card. So thank you for doing all this.
Absolutely. I'd actually like to introduce Jamie Perez, and Stephen, I am blanking on your last name at the moment, I apologize.
We didn't vote, we didn't.
Oh, sorry.
No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Now, I would like to introduce Jamie Perez from the Redevelopment Authority, and thank you. From Montrose Environmental. I had sent council, and it was included in the council packet. We've been requested by the county to partner with the county on a brownfields grant. West Reading recently, I believe, at their December meeting. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jamie.
My name is Jamie Perez. I serve as the Executive Director of the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Berks. On behalf of Berks County, the authority is leading a county-wide initiative to pursue EPA brownfield assessment grants. As lead entity, our role is to bring municipalities and partners together to access federal funding to help more complex and underutilized redevelopment opportunities move forwards. Brownfields are broadly defined as properties where redevelopment is complicated by the presence or potential presence of environmental contamination. Brownfield funding can support activities such as site investigation and reuse planning that helps reduce uncertainty, and privately owned properties are eligible as well as public, and the funding does not require a local match. The authority is asking the Borough of Wyomissing to participate as a coalition partner. Becoming a coalition partner provides the borough with access to federal resources and technical expertise while allowing the borough to identify priority areas for potential redevelopment. The application is due January 28, 2026, and at this time, we are simply seeking the borough's commitment to be included as a coalition partner. I'm joined by Stephen in case there are any technical questions related to the brownfields. That is the ask for tonight.
So this is just to commit becoming a part of it, not necessarily receive grant money, or is this working towards receiving grant money?
We're in the process of writing the grant, so we have to be
So
successful.
you're, okay.
So the grant is typical, we submit it, they'll announce awards generally around, we think around June, July of this year, and then money starts to become available October 1st of this year.
Is there any matching funds that the borough would need to do?
No, zero.
I'm particularly interested in this as far as the former power plant over at Wyomissing Industries and what we call the island between the railroad tracks. Those are two intriguing properties that have challenges. And I think this would be a very useful thing.
But it could also be used for residents who have.
There is privately owned property is equally eligible as public grants. So yes, both the properties you described could be.
As the grant writing starts, are you going in with specific areas or projects to be included with the grant, or as a coalition partner, if grants are awarded, how is it determined where those funds would be spent among your coalition partners? And do those partners have right of funds awarded to those partners to use them as they see fit?
Right, there's a bunch of questions.
It would be premature
Yes.
at this point to start to narrow down specific sites. At this point, the ask is to try to get the borough on board as a coalition partner, which would provide additional levels of support and priority for the borough to receive brownfields grants. And once we are awarded grants, then of course we enter that process of then determining which sites we could act on, and there'll be criteria for that as well.
Right, typically what happens is once there gets to be a brownfield advisory committee formed by, coalition partners would have a seat at the table. There might be other people like you had mentioned a few who we would all come together and you're sort of throwing out ideas. You judge the ideas on their merits and whether or not they're eligible for funding, and you come up with a list, and then you work through the list. Based on some of them are private property. You obviously have to get access. You can't go on someone's property that you have access to. So a property might fall off the table because the person just says, heck no, you're not coming on my property. So, and that can be, it's a very flexible grant. We do list potential sites to make a case as to why the applicant is worthy of the money, but you can make audibles throughout the process. It's a 5-year grant. So as we've done these for many communities. We're doing it for Montgomery County, Lebanon County, York County. So they're very flexible, because you never know. A developer might come up to you tomorrow and say, I'd really like to work on this property, but I'm worried about the environmental. The grant can come in and say, okay, we can do the assessment for you and possibly reduce or eliminate some of the uncertainty associated. Is there environmental or not? And if there is, it might cost you $50,000 to address it. Like maybe there's an underground storage tank that has to be removed. And you can do that for them, and all of a sudden, instead of them having some big unknown worked into the price of the property, you reduce that uncertainty and you get hopefully quicker to a fair price for both the seller and the buyer.
How many partner agencies are you working with or hoping to include?
Reading, City of Reading, West Reading, and you would be the third.
So it would just be the three of us? Okay. What do you need from us as your partners? Like, do we need to provide data or,
We've already talked to Michelle about it. The letter, that's the only thing we need you to do is to authorize her to sign it and basically send it to us, and then that gets included in the grant application.
Okay.
So,
Do me a favor,
yes, sir.
in 30 seconds or less, just for the public who's watching this on TV, explain what a brownfield is.
Sure. Well, Jamie it's basically any property, real property that may or be perceived to have environmental contamination on it. So, it can be old housing that has asbestos and lead-based paint in it. Or it can be all the way up to a big old manufacturing facility. It can be an old gas station. It can be an abandoned school or an abandoned library. All of those can have asbestos, PCB caulk in them that can be addressed by these types of programs. Now, this is just an assessment grant.
And I'll add that most redevelopment requires some level of environmental testing to be performed on it, whether it be a phase one, eventually phase two. I think it's fairly common of redevelopment efforts. So we're hoping that through this brownfields grant, we're able to advance redevelopment opportunities in the borough.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure everybody understood what we're talking about.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
So we need to make a motion.
So, I lost my place on here.
I'll make a motion to approve authorizing the letter of commitment.
Second.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions, concerns, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? All right, that motion carries that we will become a partner.
I'm going to request to make an amendment to the motion on the agenda for the Berkshire Mall. Instead of a time extension, I am asking for a motion to authorize special legal counsel to file a contempt petition if the stormwater repair work at the Berkshire Mall is not completed by January 23rd of 2026.
Second. And that's the deadline in the court orders.
That's the deadline based off of when the stormwater permit was issued, tying back to the stipulated court order.
We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Any
Thank you, guys.
questions?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion amended, motion carries.
Before we jump into the next item, I believe there was a request for me to contact the chairman of the zoning hearing board. Is that still during this meeting? Speak to the boards.
Well, that was my request, yes, but I think I would be of the notion personally to table the approval.
Well, and I guess my preference would be to send it back to the zoning hearing
Well,
board.
yes.
Ask that it put this item on the agenda, that the applications be part of the agenda, that the discussion be in public, and that the vote be in public, and then make the recommendation to council.
Before I vote to do anything, we're not saying yay or nay to the person they recommended appointing. We're just asking them to do it a different way.
Correct. We don't think we have enough information.
And I will point out that you are not legally required to obtain a recommendation from them.
Right. But the thinking was that they would know best what makes an effective member of the zoning hearing board. That they would have some.
They did make a recommendation.
Right, but but we don't, there was no explanation. There was no discussion in public, so we could discern why they did what they did.
So we can either send it back to them for a public discussion, or we can, if council wants, we can get them on the phone and have a discussion with the chair. That's up to you.
I think it would be beneficial. We know that we had 7 candidates. We've received those letters. If we can understand their reasoning behind their appointment, I think we can clarify the procedure moving forward. If we want the deliberations and all of this to be included moving forward, I think we can do that, to send it back solely to revisit it. I think think depending upon, the scope of our conversation with the chair,
When's the next zoning hearing board meeting?
Don't have any pending applications.
would they
So-
be meeting specifically for this or no?
Could, I mean, I suspect based off of conversations I've had, I'm gonna have an application in 2 or 3 weeks, and max out, we would schedule would be 60 days per municipality planning code requirements.
Or it's just gonna put us behind on stuff.
Najla agreed to stay on until her term expires June 30th of 26.
Yeah, I mean, I would either,
If we have an
if you want to push it through tonight, I would ask to get the chair on the board, or on the phone, and kind of hear personally from him. But if you want to push it off, that's fine too.
Well, I think, to be clear, we would table this and provide clarification.
Ask the solicitor whether that's how she would word it.
Mhm.
Can't call
No.
the board and find out what the information is or why they based it on that, like, by that, name that person.
And he's prepared just to participate.
Okay.
Better hurry up and go to bed.
Yeah, just send a text message.
I mean, I think there was a lot of qualified applicants.
He has an interesting screening.
Don't dispute this.
Hi, Dave. I thought I was gonna get the same screening message I got earlier. I'm gonna call you back from the phone in council chamber so everybody can actually hear you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We might get it now.
Hello?
Hi, Dave. You're on speakerphone in council chambers.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi. Thank you for calling in.
So Dave, this is Kristen. We're working on the resolution whether to move forward with appointing Mark Robinson, and I was hoping that you could provide some insight into why the zoning hearing board recommended him above the other applicants, just what your criteria was. Just if you could give a summary of your discussion, that would be great.
The simple part of it is that several of the candidates explained their expertise in zoning law and zoning experience and real estate and all of those sorts of things. But in our mind, the zoning hearing board is in fact a zoning appeal board. And by the time anybody comes to the zoning board, all of the law that each of them said they were good at has been applied. It's been applied by the borough manager, by the zoning enforcement officers, the code officers, and by council. So the reason they're coming to the zoning board is because they disagree with or would hope to not have the law applied to them in the way that it is that it has already been determined it should be. So we're not looking for somebody who understands the law. We're looking for somebody who understands the community. And we're looking for somebody that when presented with the possibility of, I don't want to say disregarding the law, but bending the law perhaps, or treating it in a different way. We want somebody who understands the community, understands the impact of what this relief that we're going to grant would mean to the community, and particularly for the long-term health of the community and welfare of the community. So our decision and our discussion centered around the person who had been in the community for a long period of time, had experienced at one point with the Borough Council of Wyomissing Hills, and that also brought in another factor that the zoning board has had not by decree or any particular design, but has had a representative of Wyomissing Hills on it since, for the past 10 or 15 years, I guess, since the communities combined. So that also was an attractive a part of this, because we would have diversity from those who were in the old Wyomissing Borough and somebody who was part of the Wyomissing Hills. We don't currently have, I wouldn't say we don't often have it, but a lot of the things that we're getting now have to do with State Hill from Russo's on out, if that is a good way of describing it, State Hill Road. And that is often an effect of a thing that has to do with Wyomissing Hills. So it was another feature. So that was the thinking. And the person that met that criteria the best was Mr. Robinson.
So it's safe to say, Mr. Rothmel, that all the applicants were vetted?
Yes, it is, and vetted to the extent that we had the information on them. Certainly, we didn't interview them. That would have been an unusual circumstance. But we looked at them from the standpoint of their involvement in the community and their longevity in the community, which seems to be kind of an important thing.
Can I ask a question? Can I just ask, outside of the fact that this person is a longstanding member of the community and is over in the hills, did the rest of their resume or letter of experience, was it comparative to the other applicants
Absolutely.
in experience level? Okay, I just want to clarify that. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anything else I can provide for you?
Oh, I think we're okay.
Thank you.
We're good. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Okay. You're quite welcome.
So hearing that, I don't know who Mark Robinson is, if he walked in and sat next to me. But I'm going to make the recommendation to approve resolution number 2026-06 as appointing Mark Robinson to the zoning hearing board to a 3-year term effective July 1, 2026.
Second.
We have discussion? Right now, the members of the zoning hearing board's terms end on December 31st. December 31st, 27, December 31st, 26. And it seems to me that the 3-year term refers to that term, not when the person starts. So I think, I defer to the solicitor, that the person would be appointed to a term ending on December 31st, 2020.
The resolution's been revised to reflect that.
But
Okay,
that's not what
I'll amend my
Mr. Bruner said.
I'll amend my recommendation.
I also recall Najla saying she would stay on to give us time to find somebody. So I think it would be pertinent to discuss with her whether she wants to fulfill the 6 months or.
She does. We discussed that last week, and what she
Okay.
said is we can invite Mr. Robinson to start attending and kind of get his feet wet by observing.
Yes.
And once she steps down, he'll be ready to step in.
So but it's not a 3-year term. It is a term
2.5 years.
beginning July 1.
I'll amend my recommendation to what I said, except his term will expire on December 31st, 2028.
We have a motion.
Do you agree to that as a second?
Second?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Any additional discussion?
Yes, I'm concerned that this is retaining the type of processes that people are unhappy with within the borough. And while I accept that the chair gave us his reasons and this is the way things are done, I think we need to seriously consider whether this is the way we want to go forward. And so I can't support this and will not do so.
Well, I appreciate your comments. I disagree with this is the way it's always been done. I don't think council has ever asked the zoning hearing board to make suggestions. I could be wrong.
I think it's the
but I think-
broader
I think-
attitude that it reflects of that we are unwilling to trouble people to have public discussion just because it previously hasn't been done. And that's it. I think it's largely, you could say it's a theoretical or ideological question, but I think it needs to be at least spoken into the public record.
I think that there is some clarity that we can provide as we move forward. I think as we're advertising these positions, what hasn't always been done is consistently in the past, there are going to be process questions that arise with that. And I think this is a good example of that. So with their reasoning and our review of the candidates, I think it's appropriate to move forward with this appointment and prioritize clarifying the process moving forward. I do think we should provide that as to what our expectations are and make sure that they're reasonable and that we agree upon them. But moving forward, is there any additional discussion? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, should we roll call?
I think it was clear. 4-3.
Clear, 4-3, okay. All right. Oh, Bishop, you can keep going, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Let me scroll back to the next resolution. Respectfully requesting a motion to approve adoption of resolution number 2026-07 as to appointing a borough treasurer as selected from the candidates that submitted letters of interest to serve in the position. We intentionally left the motion nameless, not knowing who you were going to pick. So.
Do we have a motion to appoint a treasurer from our two applicants?
I make a motion to appoint David Reeser.
Yes.
Any discussion?
I just want to clarify that motion is upon termination of his role with Western Berks Water Authority to resolve any conflict of interest.
Western Berks Water Authority solicitor responded and indicated that they took his resignation letter effective immediately. So he was resigned as of Friday.
Yeah. Perfect, thank you.
Any additional discussion?
I think like Dave has a number of duties, some public, some which are obvious to us and some which are not. And then in terms of attending meeting, making comments, they were very helpful to us, and I thank you for that. I am concerned about how frequently bank reconciliations are done, because it seems to me that's an important part of the treasurer's job, and that's something that needs to be done, I would say, within a month of receiving a statement, because if a mistake has been made, you want to catch it earlier rather than later. There might be other tasks which council is not aware of, because it's just not talked about in public. Were the bank reconciliations done in a timely manner this past year?
I'm only aware of there was an issue with August, September, and October. Mr. Reeser did come in and review them. I believe it was the beginning of December. And my understanding is the only current statement that has not been reviewed is December because it wasn't received by the end of his term.
I mean,
Another important duty is just to sign checks to get the money out of here. Have we had any issues with that?
No, Dave was extremely responsive. Every Wednesday, Kathy would send him a text message. He'd be down in 30 to 60 minutes.
He likes to get his steps in.
all right, well, I do hope that the bank reconciliations will be done monthly. And if not, then I hope the assistant treasurer will be asked to do that so that it doesn't linger, waiting for the treasurer to step in.
Yeah, respond to that. Okay. I believe Mr. Reeser's made his priorities clear to us and very confident in his abilities to carry out this duty, important duty, as he has in the past.
Move forward to take a vote. All in favor? We have a motion and a second, right? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right, motion carries. And we will move forward to Michelle. I'm taking over again. Assistant Treasurer.
Respectfully requesting a motion to approve adoption of resolution number 2026-08 as to appointing a borough assistant treasurer as selected from the candidates that submitted letters of interest to serve in that position.
I'd like to make a motion to approve William Glasser as the Borough Assistant Treasurer.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And then we just need the motion to approve the borough manager's report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll move forward to the treasurer's statement of operation. Michelle, are you presenting that?
I would for the chair of finance in the absence of a treasurer, unless you want to pick it up that quickly, Dave.
Right in there.
I make a recommendation to approve.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable, general fund, Bureau, water, sewer, refuse.
Second.
any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And we have a tax collector's report.
Yeah, that was in the packet.
It's up on the screen.
Mhm.
Motion to approve.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that brings us to our second public comment period for non-agenda items. Or agenda?
Because we
Has that
passed that
changed
motion.
now? Oh, okay. All right. Give any public comment, I think? Anyway? Sure. Oh,
David Reeser, thank you for your confidence, and that the reconciliation is already been resolved.
Should have said they had numbers.
But that will not happen again.
Very good, thank you, that's all I asked.
Thank you.
And if you could work with Bill to, since we haven't had an assistant before, if you could work with Bill to show him how you
I
do.
know the gentleman, I love the meeting, well, I will meet him at some point. Yes, yes.
Great, thank you.
He served on refuse and recycling with us.
Dave, I have his contact information.
I'm sorry?
I have his contact information. I'll get you in touch.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff to talk about.
any additional public comment? Okay.
Something, I guess I'm the only one doing things here. My name is Dolores Portner, and I've lived here 25 years. And this is the first time I felt like I need to come to a borough meeting to voice my opinion. I think it is shameful that our taxes are going up 18%. I don't think that should even be allowed to happen. I feel like someone's not minding the store. My husband served on this board for many years, and he prided himself, the taxes never went up, I don't think, above 3%. And to me, it can be done and it should be done. Some families are struggling right now to put food on their table for their kids. Some live alone and don't have two incomes. And we all have to follow a budget to get by, and I would expect that this borough should have to follow a budget too. I go through Wyomissing Hills Boulevard to work every day, and I had things here I saw, but there are things we can cut back on. If we're spending too much in one place, we can cut back in others. There was some things done around the circle where a landscaping company was coming in and putting all the stone walls up. You know, it's nice. Honestly, I don't think I hate to say it, but it looks okay, but it's not that great. That could have been cut out. There are things that can be cut out to help people in this community. Our taxes are already too high. So I just felt as though I needed to come in here and say something, and I guess I should know this before I came in here. But I know this is a new board. Did you guys vote for where was it, the old board? The old board. And if I'm right, there was one person that voted no against the tax increase. Who was that? Thank you, Ron. Thank you. I wanted to come here and thank you. Greg would have been right there with you. And shame on you guys, really. I think it's very sad for our community. And whoever said maybe Coomer Township is better, maybe in the fact that their taxes didn't go up 18%.
They went up 24.
23%.
Yeah. Can I just quickly address, there's been a lot of confusion about the work in the circle. That was a DUI driver that hit the wall. That was paid by insurance money.
Okay.
That was not a borough project. That was not.
Well, I know it did change, you know, and there are bigger trees that are planted there.
There was a bigger tree that was planted there, I believe, 2 years ago.
All I know is I thought, well, it doesn't even look that great, and there were big trucks in there with all these stones, and it was a couple days, because I drive through there every day.
That's why, it was an insurance claim.
And then one day, this is kind of funny, not really, but last week, I think it was last week, I was driving through, and there were like 6 guys blowing leaves in the median, and there were like brand new trucks sitting all over, and I thought, oh geez, there were hardly any leaves to be blown, and I thought I should have turned around and took a picture of that, just because this is where our money is going. I mean, we have, you know, whatever, I just felt as though I needed to come, and I'm a little late, and there's nothing really I can do about it, except pay more attention to who vote for.
We do appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Yes. My name is Ken Robinson. I've worked for the borough for over 34 years. I've been a resident for the same amount of time. I'm retired now, and any of you that are new, old, whatever, if you want to discuss anything to help better this community, I have a long history. Some people didn't respect it at a period of time. I've forgiven that, but if I could be invited to the personnel meeting, if that's done as a resident, and in the interim of that, if I could be invited, I would come. I have other former employees that would also give their input to help make some good decisions or just being a sounding board. I would like to reference a council meeting, and a personnel committee meeting that was on June 20th of 2023. And I asked the personnel committee to review that because, and then if you would allow me to come, I would like to discuss that with you. So if that can be done, I would appreciate it. If not, I can meet with you people separately. But I have great pride in where I live and where I work. And I hope we can rectify some things here and get things, and it's difficult, with price increases, but it can be worked out. So I thank you for your time.
Fix the pool?
Pardon me?
Can you fix the pool?
I tried to do that in 2001.
But Ken, just so everybody, I mean, first of all, thank you and Nancy and your whole family for contributing so much to our community. These meetings are public meetings. Sometimes we go into executive session, but you don't need to be invited. Everybody is invited to attend all of our meetings. Everybody is welcome to participate. You might have things that we would like to hear in executive session, simply by the nature of personnel, you know, if you have criticisms of certain performance or something. But you are more than welcome to come to our meetings, and I hope you return.
Yeah, I will. I appreciate it. But please look at that video of that personnel committee. It might shed some light.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Adrian Judic again. So I second every word that Ms. Portner said, and we miss Greg. It was a great time. Good evening. I'm speaking on non-agenda items, and before anything else, I want to request a simple process fix. Take general non-agenda public comment near the beginning of the meeting, not after the full agenda. Residents should not have to sit here for 2 hours, just like Ms. Portner did, just to be heard. If council wants a second comment period later, that's fine. But general comment belongs up at front. In my experience, Reading, City of Reading, several neighboring municipalities handle it that way, and Wyomissing should adopt that best practice. I think it's simple. Somebody wants to come, say something, they can go afterwards. I don't think they should sit here for 2 hours to do that. And yes, then if you also allow at the end, because somebody could be late, it's generous, it's fine. We are here to do that. Committee access. Please move committee meetings to the evening. Committees are where decisions are shaped, budgets, contracts, infrastructure, personnel. Daytime meetings shut out working residents and make it harder for even for the working council members to participate. Right size the committee footprint. Consolidate overlapping committees, reduce meeting frequency where appropriate, make them bi-monthly, alternate. This month we have, I don't know, one, and then the other one is next month. Staff time is not free, and we should not be running a committee structure larger than our neighboring municipalities without a clear justification. There is really no clear justification. It's the same people advising the same people. Appointments and transparency, and I'm really disappointed that you voted how you voted tonight. The public saw a committee board draft dated before the new council was sworn in, and it already listed John Woodward for major roles. 2 questions need clear answer. Who directed staff to draft that slate before swearing? And will council treat it as a true draft or open to nominations? What's going on with that? Again, the same thing this evening. We've seen the resumes for the treasurer. We have not seen the resume for the zoning hearing board. That should have been tabled. That is not, Jana, is not what the law says. It's your opinion that we can ask the zoning hearing board, but the law puts the zoning hearing board squarely with the council. And in council, we have not seen the resumes. Accuracy in public financial statements. We've seen public claims that were not supported by records produced in right-to-know responses. One example is the $100,000 insurance savings statement. If that number is real, show the baseline and the math. If it isn't, correct the record. Hold people accountable. We cannot continue with this stuff. Basic decorum and public-facing governance. Right now, council sits at the table in the center of the room with residents around the perimeter, and council members inevitably speak with their backs to portions of the public and respond over their shoulders. We've seen that numerous times. People talking like this. Personally, I've never seen this in any neighboring municipality. It's basic respect towards your taxpayers. Please reconfigure the room so council faces the public with a clear public comment microphone facing council and enforce a simple standard. Face the speaker and use the microphone. And the last one, management capacity and internal controls. The borough manager is wearing way too many hats across functions, management, open records, land use. Oh, but you like it, Michelle.
Right, just about 30 seconds.
Administration support, zoning backup, economic development, public safety leadership duties. Regardless of who's capable, that concentration of roles is a governance risk and is not sustainable. Please present the plan to right-size responsibility and fill the gaps.
Thank you.
By the way, I will present a full public comment for the record with proof.
Any additional public comment? And we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.